Good afternoon. My name is Taylor Decker, and I am going to be going over one of the PowerPoints I've created for EDF 204. I've titled this Greater Than, Less Than, or Equal To. This is a PowerPoint that I would use in my classroom. What I would start with as an entrance slip, and this is just to rate your learning so far for students. That way I get a better idea of how the students feel so far in the lesson. Um, I would use the little cards with A, B, C, or D. And you can just create these in class, have your students create them, whatever you would like to do. And that way you can have the students hold up their answers, and it's a quick reference as a teacher or as the student of how the student feels about the lesson going in, and you can always have the students answer questions throughout the lessons with these note cards as well. So for A, I would have the students select which one they feel most comfortable with. So as A, it would be I know what these signs mean, which is less than, greater than, or equal to. B, I don't know what two of the signs mean. Or C, I don't know what the signs mean. And like I said, this would just be a better way for the student or the teacher to know how the students feel going into the lesson. And this is where I would have my KDE standards. And I feel like on every lesson as a teacher, you need to have your standard. That way the students know like what they're going into, which standard that this qualifies for, and the lesson would satisfy. So I would do my I can statement, and my I can statement for this lesson would be to use greater than, less than, or equal to signs to compare two number values. This is a kindergarten lesson, and so I keep it more simplistic just because their age level and their ability is not as high as further on students, but you can always up the information in the lesson and let them get a better idea and have them fit more than one standard. So the first question that I have on my PowerPoint slide is, what does the signs mean? And this isn't really a question, excuse me. It's more like a information slide. So the first one is less than, the second one is greater than, and then the third is equal to. And as a teacher, I would take this slide and explain to the students that maybe held up a B or C card in the beginning of the lesson, these are what these signs mean. If you have a question, let me know. And that way, as a teacher or an aide, you can go over to the student and be like, have them give them more information about the lesson and what these signs actually mean. And this is examples of what each sign means. So I have that 7 is less than 8, 10 is greater than 2, and then 5, of course, is equal to 5. And this just gives an example to the students of these are how these signs are used in comparing numbers, and kind of gives them a little visual on how to recognize the numbers and the signs and all of that. So let's practice. I would give this slide to the students and give them maybe 1 to 2 minutes for them to fill out, write down on a piece of paper, or assign the note cards and be like, A is going to be less than, B is going to be greater than, and then C is going to be the equal to. And of course I would write that on the board, that way the students would know. And we would just go down the list after I gave them a few minutes to comprehend and do these questions on their own. And that way, as a class total, we can go through and be like, 5 is blank to 9. And hopefully all the students, of course, held up less than. And if not, I could go over to the student and be like, well, why did you think it was greater than? Or why did you think it was equal to? And then this is a really good representation of this, because it allows the students to not only see like how the numbers work, but how you could incorporate this into other problems. Like for example, this one is a drawing. So I have 3 circles is blank to 2 square or rectangles. And then of course it would be 3 circles is greater than 2 squares. And on this one, I might have to explain it more to the kindergartners that it doesn't matter what physical shape it is, it matters the number of the shape, because they always could get confused about why one is circles and one is rectangles. And then, of course, you need to show them the correct answer. So I would show them that 3 circles is greater than 2 rectangles. And that is the end of the presentation. And I just wanted to make sure that as a teacher, we know that to make sure when we have lessons for kindergartners that we always take time out and go to the students and be like, if you don't understand this, why don't you understand it? What questions do you have? And how can I, as a teacher, make it better for you? Hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thanks.